Hey guys. So this is a follow-up video to the previous video where I was talking about finding RNG manipulation for data Xemnas. So if you want kind of like a recap or intro, then you should probably check out that video. And also if you want to understand everything that's going on over here in this Excel document and what all these colors mean and everything, basically what all this stuff means, this is just kind of a map for Xemnas's AI and how it interacts through 3 different loops that I have recorded in this video that I have over to the right. But if you want to get a better understanding of that, you should probably also watch the first video, and you'll get a good understanding. So, to review where we left off, we were left off at a point where we could, even though Xemnas's AI advances by a lot, way more than any other fight in data.org. It's still pretty consistent. Everything, like when he throws vines, it advances by the same amount every single time. Thankfully, when you hit him with the full explosion, it advances by the same amount every single time. When you do forced revenge, his routine is pretty much the same. It just depends on what the last address was. So like, in a sense, like, okay, so you hit him with guard break and forced revenge happens, right? So the game will look at this address and then decide, what do I do? Do I do vines or do I do orbs? And then in this situation, it's vines. In this situation, after the explosion right here, it looks at this address and is like, okay, here I'm going to do orbs, and it does orbs, right? Basic understanding. And everything is pretty consistent, except for, and it's everything that we can control, except for this right here, which we talked about last time, this mystery address that just advances it advances the memory manipulation address for seemingly random reasons. We couldn't really figure out a reason, as well as every now and then this would crop up. This reflect would advance the reflect hitting Xemnas would advance the address as well for whatever reason. And I can actually explain, thankfully after today's discoveries, we can actually explain both of these phenomena. And because we're able to understand it and control when these happen, for the most part, we can actually come up with a viable strategy to get perfect Xemnas AI and complete the RNG manipulation. So let's get started. So what is going on with this address right here with the white stuff? What is advancing it? So I posted the video and then I went to bed and I woke up and I looked at the Discord, and the Cage community Discord, people actually did some pretty cool theorizing and came up with some cool ideas, and they were on the right path. However, they weren't like totally spot on. So their theory was here. Let me back up the video a little bit. So their theory here is that when this orb, I think their theory was this: the second orb, when it expands and it hits your reflect, that is when the AI advances. And the idea is that when it hits your reflect, then it advances. And then in other situations, let me try and skip ahead to, let me see, skip to other situations where it doesn't advance it. So like in this situation right here, later in the fight, I'm reflecting and the second orb isn't touching it, and there's no advancement right here. It just stays, right? So that's their theory, and they were on the right path. That's like the general idea, but it isn't exactly it isn't 100% correct, because it actually has to do with the after doing some findings, it really has to do with like the z-axis of the orbs in a weird way. So like if the so like let me put it this way. So like if we're looking at let me try and remember this timestamp. It's like a minute in, okay, or 59 seconds in. So let's go back. Let's go back to let's see here. So right here, let's go back to this. So Where are we right here? I think we're 8D. I'm trying to find it. Let me see. Are we still? Okay, we're here, it looks like. So the idea here is, so like, look at the orb, where the orb is placed. It's like at Sora, about Sora's height, right? That seems right. And it appears to be the reason why, and that's the reason why it advances. Because if you look in other situations, say like the very, very beginning of the fight, let me just play it. So like, take for example the very beginning of the fight. The orbs, that's the second orb, and it just goes straight, because you're right on top of Xemnas. It seems that the targeting for the orb just decides to go straight down, straight underground, and that's not going to hit me. It's not at Sora's height, so that's why it doesn't advance at the very beginning, right about here. Right, we're still here. It hasn't advanced any because the orb is down there, and so it doesn't advance it. And that can be, I guess, somewhat explain why, at the very beginning here, so he throws 2 orbs, right, and you avoid the first orbs by just gliding through, right? So there's the first orb, that's the second orb. So the second orb is like, it flies straight past you, and it's like it's up in the air somewhere, so it's like it's not in coordination with Sora's z-axis. So maybe that's the reason why it is that it doesn't advance in that situation, and it doesn't advance right here because you're straight on top of him. I should have made a recording of this, but well, I did some testing earlier to try and confirm the theories, and what I did is here what I would do is I would repeat this sort of combo right here, where I'm just straight on top of Xemnas, right? Well, let me just play it. So I would repeat this sort of combo where I'm right next to Xemnas, and I do reflect, slap shot, single hit, reflect, slap shot, reflect, single hit into guard break, right? And then right here, instead of like rolling off to the side or anything like that, I would just stay right next to him. And what that would do is that would cause the orb to go straight down, and that would make it so that this address never actually happens. And what happened is I got a different pattern. Instead of doing vines, he did double orbs again. So that kind of like more or less like confirms like, okay, well, if you are if you are right on top of Xemnas and you do the combo and you do the reflect combo and everything, then the address won't advance. But if you're far enough away for the second orb to like target you, and be at your, relative height, then the address will advance. Again, I can't read the minds of the developers and actually like 100%. I could do more testing to see exactly why it is, like, and test every single possibility to know exactly like if it's really height based or based on something else. But for the purposes of actually finding a strategy here, it appears that it's really Sora's like distance relative to Xemnas that will force the orbs to go somewhere different, and that will force the address, and that gives us control over whether or not this address here will advance one, which is really important. We want control over this unknown so that we can create a strat around it. And that's really important. So that's good. So that's kind of step one. The other part is the random reflects part. And I don't actually have any footage for this, but I did some testing where what I would do is I would do double reflect on the orb. So like instead of like, let me see. So let me go like later into the fight. So right here, for example, what I would do here is instead of doing a reflect into flash step and then continuing the combo, what I would do is I would do a double reflect here, and then I would attack him. And what I realized is that every single time I did a double reflect into a combo, I would get the reflect address, or I would get the reflect advancement in the address. Like this right here, this little purple stuff, this would pop up every single time I did double reflect. So it appears that if your reflect hits him really late, in a sense like double reflect late, then this will pop up. And if I can, I don't know if I can find the exact. Let me see. I'm not sure if this is it right here. Oh, okay. All right. So let me try and find this. There it is, right there. So it appears that in this situation, the reflect was just super late enough, and you can see like how he gets hit. Like normally what happens is he gets hit and then he like stays in place. But in this situation, I'll try and like play it at like just like normal speed, I guess. Like yeah, like notice how like my overhead hit misses him and he just gets launched back far away. I guess if like you see that happening, then you know that the reflect like hit him super late, or it hit him in a weird way, and in such a way that it advances the RNG. And yeah, so later on, like when I like record the strat and get everything set up, I'll probably throw something up that says like don't do this sort of combo where you like move in this way, because I was doing that while I was practicing this. And it would result in either his revenge value wouldn't go up enough for it to like for the strat to work, or I would get really weird patterns later on in the fight, which meant that the manipulation had like failed somewhere along the way, and I didn't even realize it. So those are kind of the reasons that that we have figured out for these unknowns, and basically, because we can analyze loop 2 now, and loop 2 basically got like almost a perfect fight except for like a flub at the very end, but we can analyze loop 2 and get a better understanding of why it worked out and why each part happened, each of these addresses happened. And basically what we do in our strategy is we're going to like replicate a loop 2 fight and just do that as the strategy every single time we do every time we do this fight in runs. So let me see if I can find loop 2. I think it's this one right here. So we're at the very beginning. So let's see. So we're down here, D1. And I guess we'll kind of like frame advance as we go along. So D1, and then guard break hits that. This is all normal. So right here, the orb the second orb is kind of like at my relative height because I'm far enough away for it to track me. So important thing is Sora's distance away from Xemnas. I'm far enough away from Xemnas for the orb to track me. Therefore, this happens. This little thing happens. And there it is. There's the advancement. So double reflect, bam, vines. That's all this stuff right here. And then we'll scroll down. Guard break, and then explosion. So that's all this stuff right here. Orbs. We're far enough away for the supposed random advancement to happen, and we're able to control it. So bam, and then we do it again, and it advances again. Notice how like I did it the same exact way every single time, where I would roll far away from him to get the double reflect, and it would do this, and it would do the weird unknown advancement every single time. So it gives you a better understanding, like, okay, that's why it happens. It's pretty consistent. So there's the vines. That's all this. So we're gonna go down here, And this is the part of the fight where right about here we're entering the next phase, and this is where the loop starts, right? All right, so the important thing right here when the loop is actually starting after the second vine is we want to be far enough away from him for this to happen. We want this. We want just one advancement in the AI, one extra advancement in the AI, and then we don't want any more. So right here, there you can see it. The orb is like, it's at my height. So it advances, bam, we get the explosion, and then from here on out, we're at where I'm rolling. I didn't really know exactly, but I'm like at the perfect spot. There's like this little sweet spot. If I could just like, jeez, I don't know. I am not I am not a professional, so that's why we're going to we're gonna pull up some good old MS Paint. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, here we go. So this is kind of how I see it. I am not professional in any way, shape, or form. All right, so here's Xemnas, right? This is Xemnas in the middle, right? And there are there are 3 zones going on. All right, there are 3 zones, and this is important for the strat later on. There are 3 zones. This is zone 1, and it's just like immediately around where Xemnas is. This is zone 2, and then everything else, basically just like the larger surrounding area, that's zone 3. And let's color code it, all right? We'll color code it. So this this area here will be green. All right, this area here will be green. This area here, or what is it? Okay, that's zone 2. This inner area here will be blue. And this outer area here will be red. All right, so that's our color coding. I could probably use fill, but it's probably not gonna work all that great. So what's going on in each of these zones? In this zone, this outer zone right here, where you're far away from Xemnas. So this is Xemnas again. This outer zone, zone 3. This is where the address will advance by 1. So God, I have to do this with the mouse. This is awful. Address advances. Oh, we did it. All right, so in this general area out here, this is where the orb will track you, and it will advance, and it will get you to your relative height, and it will advance the address by 1 when you're this far away. Okay, when you're in the green zone, this is like the green zone, this zone 2, this is like this is what I would call the sweet spot. And I guess we'll just like sweet spot. I feel like Khan Academy right now. Holy moly. This nice apostrophe, dude. So this is the sweet spot right here, where this sweet spot right here, this is where the address will not advance by 1, and you aren't too close to Xemnas to where when you do a reflect combo, his revenge value will be too high. Because this is something that I really noticed, and it was super important during practice, is that if you're too close to him, when like you'd think, okay, I just have to be like super far away to advance at 1, and then when I want to get in to not advance it, I want to be super close to him. So I want to roll like straight to Xemnas, real close to him, do the reflect combo. I tried that, and it's not that easy, unfortunately. Pretty much every single time that I did this combo, when I was really close to Xemnas, no matter how much I delayed it or anything like that, the extra hit that I did while the reflect like went off and it damaged him, the extra hit that you do there, whether it's slap shot or flash step or anything, it will add an extra revenge. It'll actually add an extra value. It'll add 1 to the revenge value, which means that it'll be too high. Because it'll be, the reflect will hit him, so that'll be 3. You do your hit, and then it'll add 1, so that's 5. And then there are 3 other parts of your combo, or 2 other parts of your combo. So 5, 6, 7, then guard break hits 10. And each of the data's max revenge value before they hit their forced revenge is 9.375. So you hit his revenge value, and he teleports away, and it ruins it. So you can't. This is the bad zone. The blue zone. You don't want to be too close to him. You don't want to be too far. The green is the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot where it won't advance, and you'll be just far away enough to the point where if you delay your combo well enough, then it won't advance then his revenge value won't go too high, and you'll get the explosion, and it'll continue the loop just like normal, and everything's good and dandy. There we go. Hopefully, y'all got some understanding out of my kick-ass paint presentation. So continuing on. That's where I'm at. I'm in this sweet spot right here, each and every single one of these combos. So just like notice exactly where I'm at, like right there. You don't want to be like really much any closer to him. Like, and you notice right there that there goes the orb. If you're just in this sweet spot, then the orb will just like go straight down, just like that, and you'll be able to get this combo off, just like that, nice and perfect. And there you are again in the sweet spot, just like that's exactly where you want to go. What I personally do when I practice this now is let's see, right here, I think right there it was the that was reflect being too late, so the reflect damage hit him or something like that. But yeah, what I do personally is I run up to him instead of doing the dodge roll, because I want my reflect to be like the perfect timing as well as like the perfect distance and everything. It's a really hard strat, like this RNG manipulation, but it is possible, and I think if you practice it enough via emulator or something like that, then you should be able to do this sort of strategy. So yeah, there it messes up. But like if you look at the amount of health that he was at, let's see, where was he? Right there. So you right there. So right here, this is like, you pretty much did it. This is it. This is like close enough. So what you would probably do here is you would do like a double reflect, and that would cause him to do vines, and then you just do a couple reflects there, and there you go. Perfect fight, essentially. So that's it, really. That's it. Like that. And because we're able to we can pretty much avoid doing that. We avoid this ever happening for the most part. Sometimes it might pop up for weird reasons, but it's a big anomaly and probably isn't really going to happen as long as you're in the right position and everything and your reflex are on point. So this probably shouldn't happen. And the really important thing right here is that we can control this, because what's important is that we want this to show up once and then we don't want it to show up anymore. And before it was random when it would show up, but now that we know when it shows up and why, we can control it. And it's relatively easily controllable. And that's it. That's really it. So like the next video is probably going to be the completed product, the completed version of the fight. I'm going to try and find a way to, because I mean, I totally understand that these sort of videos right here where I have a freaking Excel document and I have all these values and everything, and then I'm kind of like going frame by frame, isn't really as intuitive to people as it could be. So I'm going to try and find a way to make a video and make it like, oh dude, okay, I get it. I understand why this works. I understand why this strategy works and why you have to do it in this specific way in order to get the RNG to line up perfectly to get the perfect fight. So probably that's going to happen, and then I'm probably going to make like an explained version explaining exactly what you should do in each individual part of the fight and everything, and just like what to work on when you practice it and everything. So yeah, that is it. That's the whole shebang. Hopefully you guys got something out of this, I guess. This whole, honestly, like, we're pretty freaking lucky. We were lucky enough in the first place to actually, like, because the first time that I went with this seed, I guess, you pretty much got almost a perfect fight, and then it popped up, and then every now and then you would get fights like the loop one where it goes, like, to 4 HP bars, and then like this one where it's to 6 HP. And it was like a 50-50 sort of thing. But I knew that if we could, like, do enough research and everything like that, we could actually figure out how to get it to show up 100% of the time, or at least make it so that the strategy revolves not on luck, but rather your skill, even if it is a hard strat. So yeah, hopefully you got something out of this, whether it be entertainment or insight or anything like that. I'm gonna peace out. I'll see you guys later.